That day, I explained the poem Explosion by Vivimarie Vanderpoorten. I told you that the poem has been written around central bank attack that was launched by LTTE, where more than 200 men and women died on the spot. And others were injured. Yes. It was held in 31st January 1999, a Wednesday, a weekday. I explained that. Please write like this. Vivimarie Vanderpoorten's poem Explosion has been set in the context of central bank mine explosion that took place on 31st January 1996. Yes. It was a Wednesday that general public were gathering in Colombo town for their different purposes. The terrorist movement Liberation Tigers of Tamil Elam targeted the economical centers of Sri Lanka to destroy the economy of the country. Yes. This attack was launched by three LTTE suicide bombers. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. Suicide bombers. BOMBERS. We pronounce as bombers. Suicide bombers. And one of them died on the spot, and two others were taken into custody. In that attack, around 100 civilians died on the spot, and around 1,400 got injured at the incident. Yes. Vivimarie converts that CONVERTS converts that true incident
Sir, Vivimarie?
converts 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 that true incident into a poem under the title explosion. Yes. In the opening of the poem, The poet says, on the day, the truckload of explosives drove into the central bank. Yes. Thus the poet tells how the truck full of bombs arrived in the central bank in the broad daylight, BROAD, broad daylight of a working weekday. Correct? Now there is also a critical point towards the defensive authorities, ආරක්ෂකයන් වලට. මොකද මේ කොළඹ නගරයේ ඒ වෙනකොට high defensive zone, අධිආරක්ෂිත කලාපයක්. අධිආරක්ෂිත කලාපයකට බෝම්බ වාහනයක් මෙහෙම ඇතුල් වෙනවායි කියන එකම හිතා ගන්න බැරි සිදුවීමක්. Yes. First of all, the poet is critical towards the defensive authorities of the country because during the wartime this area was a high defensive zone and even the pedestrians were checked at checkpoints. Yes. Any motor car could not enter Colombo city without being checked by army, right? Therefore, the poet points finger at security sectors for their negligence, Yes. Colombo City, in Colombo City, there was a thorough net of intelligence service, Buddhyansa, intelligence service, but they were not able to find out this. Yes. Yes. Next, the poet tells how this sound of explosion staggered, STAGGERD, staggered for a lone second, of a workday morning in the city. Yes. Next, we are told that even the coin, CAWING, coin of the cross merged, merged into a solitary boom, BWM boom, with the prism of fire and fury, FURY. Yes. Full stop. Cross, CROWS, cross in Colombo City is a very common sight, and the poet shows how even the crows were terrified by this sound. Yes, new para. Next, the poet describes the massive calamity that destroyed property and murdered innocent civilians are general public. Yes, as we read, lives ended, eyes were blinded, and retired wage earners, wage earners, එකන ETF, EPS pension ගන්නව retired wage earners collecting provident funds were crushed under brick and glass, Yes. Here the poet describes the most horrible and inhuman side of the war in Sri Lanka. Yes. These people who became victims of the explosion were extremely innocent ones, ONES ones, who never had any connection with war. Yes. After getting retirement of about 30 years service, they visited the central bank to collect their provident funds. Provident funds. Yes. And now it is like this. They normally came to get provident funds to spend for their daughter's wedding, or give dowry to daughter. Normally, parents after retirement, they wanted to settle their children's things with that provident fund. Yes. On most occasions, what those senior citizens wish to do with the provident fund was to arrange their daughters' marriages. Yes. This explosion killed and injured thus far innocent people. Yes. A sort of criticism goes to the government too for not providing the people with sufficient custody. Yes. Next, the poet tells about another heart-rending, H-E-A-R-T, heart-rending, R-E-N-D-I-N-G, හද සසල කරන heart-rending incident, and that is about the nearby
Heartrending.
hmm?
Heartrending.
heart-rending incident, and that is about the nearby vegetable seller apostrophe sellers, hands becoming severed like cucumbers, severed like cucumbers. Yes, yes, women in sari held their eyeballs in their palms, and blood spattered, spattered, spattered the streets, erasing memory. Yes, these women were those who were going to their their working place uh, after sending their children to schools. Yes, therefore the event is uh, tremendously tragic, right? New para. The poet satirizes the government for not protecting their own citizens. Out of the broken window of a damaged car, dead driver. The radio blared unscathed on a commercial break. A man's pleasant voice announced that big or small insurance protect them all. Car එකක් damage වෙලා driver dead. Radio එක වැඩ කාර් එක. ඒ කියන්නේ advertisement එක ලොකු පොඩි සමට රැකවරණය. මොකද සෙලින්කෝ. සෙලින්කෝ කියලා කියන්නේ නෑ. ඉතින් දැන් ආණ්ඩුවට බෑ ජනතාව රැකවරණය දෙන්න. රැකවරණය දෙන්න ඉන්නේ කවුද? සෙලින් මේ ඉන්ෂුරන්ස් කම්පැනි. හැබැයි ඉන්ෂුරන්ස් කම්පැනිස් වලට බෑ බෝම්බ වලින් මිනිස්සු බේරගන්න. මරණයට පස්සේ කියලා වැඩකුත් නෑ. Yes. As we read out of the broken window of a damaged car in which driver is dead. Still, the radio is functioning. In a commercial break, the radio announced an advertisement in a pleasant voice that big or small insurance protects them all. Yes. When we analyze the advertisement, what we come to know is that this is an advertisement from Selinco Insurance Company. Yes. We know that insurance companies could not protect people from such a mine explosion. Yes. after death, they may pay a compensation, but they cannot protect people from terrorism. Right, Newkara. In writing this poem, Vivimarie Vanderpoorten, in this poem describes how far war is brutal and inhuman to assassinate innocent men and women. Yes. LTTE fought for a separate regime of their own, so that they had the revenge with the government. Full stop. Nevertheless, in this calamity, Vinashe, Vyasane, CLA, calamity, those who died were general public. Yes. The poet shows the cruelty of LTTE. Yes. She also criticizes three forces and police for their negligence. Yes. We have to think about the way that the bombs came to Colombo from Jaffna. Yes. In this manner, the poet records that unprecedented unprecedented incident of a truck full of explosives exploding itself in the heart of Colombo, in public. Right. Binadio කියවන්න බලන්න. Can you read?
Explosion by Vivimarie Vanderpoorten. Vivimarie Vanderpoorten's poem Explosion has been set in the context of central bank mine explosion that took place on 31st January 1996. It was a Wednesday that general public were gathering in Colombo town for their different purposes. The terrorist movement Liberation Tigers of Tamil Eelam triggered the economical centers of Sri Lanka to destroy the economy of the country. This attack was launched by 3 LTT suicide bombers and one of them died on the spot and 2 others were taken into custody. In that attack, around 100 civilians died on the spot and around 1,400 got injured at the incident. Vivimarie converts that true incident into a poem under the title Explosion. In the opening of the poem, the poet says, on the day the truckload explosive drove into the central bank, the poet tells how the truck full of bombs arrived in the central bank in the broad daylight of a working weekday. First of all, the poet is critical towards the defensive authorities of the country during the wartime. This area was a high defensive zone and even the pedestrians were checked at checkpoints. Any motor car could not enter Colombo city without being checked by army. Therefore, the poet points finger at security sectors for their negligence. In Colombo city, there was a thorough net of intelligence service, but they were not able to find out this. Next, the poet tells how the sound of explosions staggered for a long second of a workday morning in the city. Next, we are told that even the coin of the cross merged into a solitary boom with the prison of fire and fury. Cross in Colombo city is a very common sight, and the poet shows how even the cross were terrified by this sound. Next, the poet describes the massive calamity that destroyed property and murdered innocent civilians. As we read, lives ended, eyes were blinded, and retired wage earners collecting provident funds were crushed under brick and glass. Here, the poet describes the most horrible and inhuman side of the war in Sri Lanka. These people who became victims of the explosion were extremely innocent ones who never had any connections with war. After getting retirement of about 30 years service, they visited the central bank to collect their provident funds. On most occasions, what those senior citizens wished to do with the provident fund was to arrange their daughters' marriages. This abortion killed and injured dozens of innocent people, a sort of a criticism was to the government due for not providing the people with sufficient custody. Next, the poet tells about another uh, heart-rending incident, and that is about the nearby vegetable seller's hands becoming severed like cucumbers. Women in sari held their eyeballs in their palms and blood spattered the streets, erasing memory. These women were those who were going to their working place after sending their children to schools. Therefore, the event is tremendously tragic. The poet satirizes satirizes the government for not protecting their own citizens, as we read out of the broken window of a damaged car in which the driver is dead. Still, the radio is functioning. In a commercial break, the radio announced an advertisement in the pleasant voice that big or small, insurance protects them all. When we analyze the advertisement, what we come to know is that this is an advertisement from Serenco Insurance Company. We know that insurance companies could not protect people from such a mine explosion after death. They may pay a compensation, but they cannot protect people from terrorism. In writing this poem, Vivimarie Vanderpoorten in this poem describes how far war is brutal and inhuman to assassinate innocent men and women. LTTE fought for a separate region of their own so that they had the revenge with the government. Nevertheless, in this calamity, those who died were general public. The poet shows
Poet.
the cruelty of LTTE. She also criticizes three forces and police for their negligence. We have to think about the way that the bombs came to Colombo from Jaffna. In this manner, the poet records that unprecedented the truck full of explosive,
Explosive.
exploding themselves in public.
Finish.
Yes, sir.
හරි. එහෙනම් හෙට 6:00 දාගමු අය 6:30. හෙට
Okay,
පුළුවන්.
sir.
හරි හරි. Good night.
Good night, sir. Thank you, sir.